Kind of a cozy day in Western Washington. A lot of cloud cover, some rain. The 60s, though, Mike's been promising us, are coming. So when? That's the big question.
They are indeed. First of all, cozy is a very nice way to describe today. If you're next to a fire,
by the fire.
Some comfort food, for the rest of the evening. And yes, it looks like starting Tuesday, this pattern that's finally been keeping us cold and wet is going to break. And as I mentioned earlier, I think I see some 70s on the horizon. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. We've got a beautiful horizon right now. Look at that. That is spectacular. Not only do you have these beautiful rays in the foreground here, you've got that fantastic sunset off in the distance there, now post 8 p.m. There's a live look from Bellingham right now where we do have that wind advisory in place, and rightfully so. It's gusty out there, especially as we saw earlier up towards Whidbey, Friday Harbor, and along the coast out near Hoquiam, it's gusty as well. Meanwhile, getting a little bit of light offshore flow, especially over the Seattle metro. Wind advisory will stay in place until 11 p.m. tonight. Winds getting up to about 35 miles an hour. Some isolated gusts up to about 50. That does include the islands and then up towards Skagit and Whatcom County, especially close to the water there. So take a look at satellite and radar. This is called stratiform rain. It is widespread, it is steady, but it is also going to come to an end tonight. In fact, the frontal boundary is already moving overhead here, so we'll become post-frontal and start to see some of this steadier rain become a little more showery in nature as we go through the rest of the night. As it stands right now, though, the evening commute is just a mess. And again, as I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of puddling and ponding out there, so be very careful if you're out driving. Yeah, I got a little slippery today on my way into work, so just a little public service announcement. Also, tracking some snow up into the mountains there. So far, no pass impacts. I was just taking a look at the roads there. We'll do that during the next half hour, but they're looking pretty good up towards Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass. So, wow, somewhere under there is Washington State and Oregon. We are just really obscured right now by all this cloud cover. You can see this low pressure system here that's kind of steering everything that's coming in off the Pacific our way. It'll continue to do that. Now, here's how it plays out. This current water balloon that's on top of us, it kind of just empties itself out. We get a nice respite on Friday. In fact, we got a real good shot at a sunset. And then we've got a couple of systems that are just going to drop along the British Columbia coast and kind of keep us active throughout the weekend. It's that right there is that ridge of high pressure that's going to build and warm us and dry us next week. Speaking of drying, overnight tonight, by the time we get at 8 a.m. tomorrow, it looks like the commute will be pretty good. We'll continue to see some snow up towards the mountains, some light rain into the foothills, and then just showery. So by the time the kids are getting out of school tomorrow, looking pretty good. And right around sunset time tomorrow, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a really good one. Plan that. So here's what we're going to do on Saturday. We've got that next system that's going to drop in along the coast. Again, keeps us showery. It doesn't really keep us rainy, so if you have some plans, don't cancel them. You'll be fine. Saturday night, 8 p.m., sunset potential not so great, but Sunday looking a lot better. Here's a live look from Mount Rainier in Paradise. If you've been with us all week long, that parking lot was clear this time yesterday. They've got a significant amount of snow up there and more headed this way this weekend. So if you want to get up to the resorts, in some places it is the closing weekend. So get up and enjoy. Overnight lows tonight, a little bit better than they were this morning. Remember, we touched down right at the freezing mark in some spots, especially down towards places like Olympia and Shelton. So 39 looking pretty good in relative terms. High temperatures tomorrow will be in the low to mid 50s, again slightly better than it has been. 7-day forecast shows temperatures getting into the mid 50s and staying there, and then starting Tuesday, that ridge of high pressure builds. We get into the low 60s, mid 60s on Wednesday and Thursday, and our first 70 could be next Friday.